Another Netflix original movie. This time we have Fractured, directed by Brad Anderson, a director I really quite like, who's done some neat horror movies of past. This time Sam Worthington stars as Ray, a father who, along with his wife and child, are travelling across the country, going back home, when an accident befalls his daughter, and he takes her and his wife to the hospital to get some general treatment, to make sure that everything's okay. Rushing there, getting into the hospital, getting his daughter over, getting all the paperwork done. Such a frantic experience. Gets it all done, and then when he just finally, his daughter and wife go away for treatment, he collapses on a chair in the waiting room and passes out. When he wakes up, he goes to the desk to find out about his wife and daughter, where everybody's quite adamant that he came in alone. He never had a wife or a daughter, and it's all within his mind. It's a movie that's kind of set up a little bit like The Lady Vanishes, but unlike, say, Flight Plan, which was a movie that was quite like that as well, it actually twists and turns that story quite a bit, knotting it into the fabric of the movie itself. And it's one of those movies that you feel has familiar tropes, and it does, but it plays on them tremendously well. I flipped and flopped continuously with Ray going, this is happening. No, wait, it's this. No, wait. The movie pushed and pulled me in its various directions. It had me in its grasp, and I could never quite figure out where it was going to go to. That is something itself is marvellous to see these days, because usually these movies are spoiled or they're signposted, but this one actually, and I watched this twice, gives you a lot of the information throughout the story to piece together everything that's happened in such a manner, but you just don't see it. You don't see what's happening right in front of your eyes, which is part of the magic of the movie. You have this character of Ray who is flawed. We find that out throughout the movie, through some exposition, through some things we see ourselves, that he is not altogether as strong a person as he once was, and is struggling to deal with the fact that nobody is listening to him. Nobody is taking his time to find his missing daughter and wife. And even though he is discovering evidence throughout the hospital, everyone is adamant that they aren't there. And it becomes this driving mystery, this ticking clock of Ray trying to figure out where his family is, how he can get them back before something nefarious happens to them. And it's that kind of high-driven, high-octane, tense movie that really keeps you on the edge of the seat, that has you guessing, wondering what's going to happen next, which is one the best things kind of about it, in my eyes. The way that the movie constantly switches from one direction to another and gives you some really tense moments in amongst it. There is some nice direction here as well. There is a fight scene that I particularly liked that's set within an elevator, but rather than having it too close quarters so that you couldn't see what's going on, they do a lot of the photography from the top down, which gives it a really unique and interesting visual style. There's lots of twists and turns, and the camera and the sound is used magnificently to lead you down a certain path, even though the information you'll be getting might take you another direction. The slight twists and turns of the camera, the use of music is masterfully done here, as it really heaps on an honest and plain scene, but twisting it to something a little bit more diabolical than you would first imagine. I really kind of liked Fractured. It was the movie that I felt comfortable going in to watch. I'd seen this thing before. I knew what was coming. There wasn't going to be much here. And sure, the characters may not be great. They may not be completely formed, but they still got an idea of what's going on. I liked the finale of the movie. I liked the way everything tied together. And I thought it was a complete enjoyable thriller. The kind of thing that may have been lost in the cinema, but on Netflix, it's one of those ones that you're going to click on one day and actually feel like you've watched something really worthwhile. A pretty decent thriller. I'd love to know your thoughts on Fractured, but please, if you're going to do anything about spoilers or that, just put a little heading of spoilers at the top of it so we don't waste it for anybody else. Let me know your thoughts on it, and I'll see you next time on Man vs. Film.